Glad to know you're still with us. And yes, I'm glad to be flanked by two gentlemen. Thanks for joining us, Bruce Omodio.
Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Charles Fakroha.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. And virtually we have Mr. Garuba Kurfi. Thank you for joining us.
I'm happy to be with you.
All right. And Mr. Jari Ogbe, thank you too for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, we start with what the market says today. Nigerian equities market continued a three-day upward swing as data from the NGX shows that the all-share index gained 20.21 index points at the end of trading session, or 0.04% on Friday, to settle at 49,682.15 index points. Market capitalization closed at 26.79 trillion naira, while total volume of transactions rose to 193.51 million units, valued at 4.64 billion naira in over 3,000 deals. Well, that's the figure for today. Bruce, let's start with you. I mean, we've had 3 days of positives. Did you even see that coming in the first place?
Yeah, actually, I've said it on this program that the high cap stocks really, control the market cap, especially the market index. The life of Airtel, Dangote, Cement, Steplat, MTN, and Boa Cement. These are the the big five or big six that are controlling it. And whenever they gain or they lose, to reflect on the index. But I really encourage that as an investor, the index alone is not enough to judge. Also look at the sectorial indices to know what is happening in that sector. An individual stock chart or performance is very, very important. What I was discussing during the week, that end of the day price and end of the week price and end of the month price is very, very important for any investor in the market. Why is that? When a stock closes the day, you usually know what the buyer and seller have settled for that day. In technical analysis, that is what they settle, that is the price for that day, and that is the value for that day. Then you as an investor now, you look at what is in between the top, the 52 high and the 52 low, to know exactly where the company is, whether you should buy for expected news, because timing also is very important when you're investing in equity. Know that time to be in that stock. That's why at the end of the day, end of the week, and end of the month price is very, very important. As I was saying, what happened in these just 2-3 days in the market, that the life of Airtel gain. And don't forget that it's not because we're expecting Airtel result, but because the foreign investor in Nigeria is also trying to leave the country, and you know that the FS market is having issue. Because Airtel is a dual listing company, they can easily buy Airtel here and go and sell. Even when they are making loss, they are not concerned about the loss, but they need their money back. That's why they can buy into Airtel and go to London and sell. Also, don't forget that Airtel is one of also the top 25 capitalized company in Africa. For me, it's so important for them also to invest in it to hold their position, because you can trade it in Nigeria, also trade it in London. That's why dual listing anywhere in the world is very important for investors to understand how it works and also take advantage of it. That gain yesterday moved the market up back to above 49,000 psychological line, which is very, very good for the market, because I was certain that once the market breaks 48 the mark down, that will cause a little panic.
Okay.
But now that I advanced that,
exactly.
Also we're expecting that the month of August is coming closer, and today now they release the GDP figure. Many investors, many fund managers will be sit down to look at the GDP figure, relate with what the inflation, relate with what our purchasing manager for the month of July. That will now form the region. What are we expecting to happen in the month of September? Know that September in history is a month that is also very dicey. Because that month of September, no activities. Everybody is looking at what end of the quarter. For that, we expect what's happening this month to extend to on September. But I believe that will be a month for people to also be pushing for end of quarter. For me, I believe that market will remain this oscillation mode. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Very quickly, let's have your thoughts before we go to other things.
I saw the market. I was impressed. What happened? I was on Wednesday when, that was Thursday, when because of Airtel we saw the market. I was even hoping it would get beyond that psychological mark of 50,000. Because when it gets there, you see that even the technical people too be looking at, okay, these figures has got beyond this mark. But I will tell investors, like Ambrose have said, you don't need to just use just one parameter to judge the market. You need to use other variables to join the market. But at the same time, he might not agree with me, but I'll tell investor, please adopt Naira cost averaging investment.
Okay, I think this would be, beg your pardon, I think this is a good place to end that one. Well, we'll continue the conversation now. Dangote Cement has recorded a 10% decrease in its half-year 2022 profit, and this is due to higher foreign exchange pressures and energy costs incurred. The financial statement as released on the NGX shows that profit after tax dipped by 10.19% to 172.105 billion naira compared to 191.631 billion naira in half-year 2021. Now, this reveals a dip in net profit margin by 23% to 21.31%. Now, compare this to 28% in half-year 2021. The slump in earnings was mainly driven by elevated cost pressures and increased interest expenses. Now, the gross profit margin was bolstered by an upward product price adjustment and not due to increase in production volume. Now, that's dicey. It's not because there's increase in production, but because of upward price adjustment. The consumers definitely bear the brunt. Now, this led to the growth in Dangote Cement revenue by 17.01% to 808 billion naira. That's from 690.5 billion naira in the comparable period, while production volume went down to 13.8 metric tons in the first half of 2022. Now, this is what we have. This is what is happening to, of course, Dangote. I don't know if you can hear me, Mr. Kurfi.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right, so what do you think is responsible for this pressures? And let's talk about what's happening to Dangote and their half-year result. Tell us your view.
Well, my view is that they just try to explain why they are where they are, but I'm not convinced.
Yes.
Because they are not the only company operating in this. If you apply the same issue to Boa's mill, you will see that it's a different result.
Yes.
Boa has more of their production in Sokoto, where they have to look for LPMO, or even gas it will cost them because of the transportation of the diesel.
Yeah.
But if you take the Dangote Smith, his production was in Abajana and the one that in the Ogun State, they are all connected with the pipe gas. So why do they have the cost? But if they give us the explanation, we have no reason then to look at it, but we have the right to compare it with the other. To what they explain to us is the same with the other one, the answer is no. Probably, if they say the cost of transportation of their product to the market might, but this is the cost that is already observed by the market. So I heard of them, but I did not believe it. I believe they have to explain us furthermore, because we have other comparative which they do not reflect the same.
All right, thank you so much. Jerry Ogbe, if you can hear me, let's have your thought. Do you agree with Mr. Garuba?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Garuba. He is the guy in the market. But I just want to add that this we are going to see in most of the manufacturing industries. We are going to see increased costs. We are going to see increased cost of running business. All these are going to start happening and affecting results as we speak. But again, if you check around other economies around the world, you might not see anything so different. So what I am thinking is that it's high time manufacturing companies, especially the listed one that have the strength, to start considering how to seek cheaper funds to run their business. They should start considering more bonds, and they should look at how to match their production with their profit target. It's not about producing so much, but it's about producing to your limit where you will have the highest level of profit. So, now.
Okay, I think that's about that. Let's have your thought very quickly.
Well, first of all, I will say I wouldn't agree totally with my doyen.
I knew that. I knew that.
Yes, I know Dangote Cement, they need to do a better explanation. That cost they're talking about is already known to the market. But we must appreciate the environment in which they operate. You know, they still use diesel in some of their
And of course, when we
operations.
look at how much they spent on foreign exchange, it's a lot compared to what was spent last year.
Exactly.
The same period. That's a whole lot. And I'm concerned about that. I'm wondering how companies are coping and what will become of us if that particular issue is not addressed.
That is the issues, you know. manufacturing generally in the country today is having a serious problem. The ease of doing business is not easy at all. And so we need to be patient with these manufacturers. I know Dangote Cement can do better than this, but over time we have seen what they've been doing. But they can also manage these costs, whether it is from diesel, whether it's from cost of transportation, they can still manage these costs. A company as big as Dangote, with all the plants in Ibeche, Okwila, and some other places, they cannot begin to think of alternative energy to power their production. They can sponsor it. I know it's going to be a long-term affair, but looking at the environment in which we find ourselves today, they need to begin to look at alternative sources of power to power their production.
And what's the alternative to the foreign exchange challenge? Is there an alternative?
Yes, for that, I think there's nothing the company can do generally, but again, we'll come to government side now. Government policy to see that what government can do to improve our production. Yes.
Okay, just in 1 minute before we look at some other stories.
Actually, I would say that when you run what we call outside the shore offices, like Dangote, they have almost 23 Africa countries where they have business office as to speak now. And coming back home, before this time, most of those Africa countries are the ones that affect the bottom line of of Dangote. If you look at the result that we're just discussing now, go and read it. So that Nigeria contribute to the bottom line, there's a decline. Even there was increase in price that reflected on the top line, but that means something is wrong. That is why you see there's a decline in their production, their military for that it can cause.
Hello, can I say one or two things?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
All right. You see, I don't know if you get my last contribution correctly, but I just want to say that it is no more just doing business in Nigeria, because the method, the standard of business have changed. We have to come back to the table and look at what we are doing. It's not about producing large number of goods. It's about making maximal use of your capacity. Don't do too much, don't do too low. Make sure that what you are doing tally with your profit target.
All right,
we need professionals to start looking at this. If not, so many manufacturing companies will start reporting losses as we speak.
All right, thank you so much. I think that's noted. He was reacting to what you were saying.
But I wanted to add one word.
Okay, sir.
What you did not understand with the manufacturer of cement, they are trading on the customers' money. Most of the dealers have deposited billions of money waiting to get their product not yet supplied.
That's true.
And this money is at no cost to them. If you check your books, you will see that all of them, they are carrying billions of creditors. Who are those creditors? Those are the dealers who are waiting for the product to be supplied for them. So they don't need to borrow. And they don't need foreign exchange, because both the gypsum and limestone are extracted from Nigeria. So if there is any need of foreign exchange, it's just for the spare part, which is minimal. So they have no issue for that.
All right, but we're just quoting their reports anyway.
To round it up, if you look at other players in that industry, look at their numbers for half year, they perform excellently. Say that it's not peculiar to Dangote. And don't forget that, those are pre-election year. Personally, there's nothing to do with pre-election year. Pre-election year and post-election is where even government, the high demand for construction that would demand for high demand for cement. For me, for any investor that is panicking because there's a decline, that will change your strategy. There's opportunity in Lafayette, there's opportunity in Boa. Then you cannot miss your portfolio and know where you should be. Know where you are investing. Not because you want to play defensive. You want to also grow your wealth. You want to grow your capital. If you see opportunity in Lafayette at this current price, go in. If you see opportunity in Boa, go. But what matters is that you as an investor know how to balance your portfolio with all these building materials stock, so that at the end of the day you know where you stand. Because I believe that pre-election year, even the people are looking for, we're going to see a better number in that sector too, because more construction is going on just because of preparation of election. And after election, anywhere that comes in, either new president or continue of all these governments, they need to also want to, because we have infrastructure gap in Nigeria. For me, it's a business on the, like you said, money is already there. Because people are paying ahead of this product. They are not waiting for you to supply before they pay. They pay so they can bring material, you can bring their product to them. For me, that sector is where investors can only plan and not to stay ahead of their investment. That is really way to go, because this pullback in their earnings, and for me it's not a big deal because they already passed their cost to invest. And if you increase the price tomorrow again, the consumers will still buy.
That's true.
Absolutely. Well, I think I will just end that particular one there.
Well, just one video. I think Dangote Cement, it's a very responsible company in terms of where they operate, in terms of taking care of the environment. So we must also give them kudos, because it's one of the, apart from Lafarge too has done that, they've also submitted their sustainability report, and I think that is also very, very key to mention.
All right, I think we ended there. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll do a comparative analysis of agricultural industry. Stay with us.